Okay, let's do it. Let's just do it, Jeremy. Stop flirting with your notebook. Are you looking for a fun and creative way to organize your life and boost your health? Well, stick around because I've got something that just might change your life. Welcome back to PB with Jay. Here on the channel, we focus on plant-based goodness from all things like recipe reviews, my own recipes. We do fun informational videos, but today we're doing something entirely different. I'm going to talk to you about a process that I've been using for almost a decade that keeps me organized, keeps my head from exploding. It's called bullet journaling. Bullet journaling, or Bujo, is a mindfulness practice that was created by Ryder Carroll. It's a productivity system. It'll help organize you from day to day, week to week, month to month. I mean, year to year if you actually want to customize it that way too. It allows you to schedule everything from your mundane day-to-day task to health goals, fitness goals, habits, progress, and you get to do it all in a way that's customized to you. Bullet journaling will meet you wherever you are to help you have a less stressful life. And I know I've got a bunch of stuff spread out in front of me, but honestly, all you need to do this is a notebook and a pen. Maybe you've heard of bullet journaling or seen images online, especially on Pinterest, because people love to share their bullet journaling stuff. And you've thought to yourself, that looks really complicated and confusing, and like it's gonna take up a lot of my time, and I have to be some kind of an artist to do it. Not true. Look at this guy. Not an artist. I'm a filmmaker, so in theory, I'm technically some kind of an artist, but I don't draw well. I got stencils and stuff, but you don't have to use that either. It's just something I like because it's pretty. But you don't have to make it pretty. The beautiful thing about this is you can make this as simple as you want to, or if you want to get nerdy and arty, you can do that too. So if something like this interests you, stick around. But first, I'd love to give some shout outs to some members of our audience. Sue from Lillooet, BC, Jasmine from Schaumburg, Illinois, Jane from North Carolina, Lynn from Red Beach, Auckland, New Zealand, Shona from Santa Fe, Texas. She said she's near Galveston, for those that know Texas. Adina from the United Kingdom, Jean from Central Washington, in the heart of the Cascades. I think she wanted me to point that out, so I have. Samantha from Fairbury, Nebraska, Gerda from the Netherlands, and Kimberly from Prescott, Arizona. If you would like a shout out, all you have to do is let us know down below who you are, where you're watching from, and what you thought of this video. If you want to get a bump up on that shout out list, because it's a bit long, consider joining our membership for that perk as well as many others. One last thing before we get into the video proper, if you haven't been to our merch store lately, we just had a competition, or contest really, with our audience members, and we picked 5 winners with t-shirts that were inspired by their suggestions. So check those out and let us know which of those might be interesting to you, and maybe pick one up because it helps us out here on the channel. All right, so let's get into the heart of this. I know what you're thinking. I have a calendar on my laptop, on my phone. I've got lists on my phone, notebook apps. I've got all these other things that I can use. Why should I use a notebook? My problem with all of those digital things is that when you put those lists in there, they just stay there, and it's so easy to forget about things, for things to get overlooked, forgotten, ignored. Let's be honest, when's the last time you looked at the 5,000 photos that are on your phone? Never. If you're anything like me, you need something that keeps you accountable and motivated. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but one of the things that I really love about bullet journaling is that it's tactile. I have to physically write it down, which makes it a bit more meditative for me. In fact, it's literally the way I think about meditating, because every night I get into my journal, I go through the day, I think about the day ahead, and I just reflect, and it calms me down, and it makes me happy. Okay, so if you want to get started on this, pause the video, go grab a notebook and a pen of your choice. And like I said, you can get far more crafty, and I'll show you some of the things I used along the way, but you can just do it with a pen and any notebook you like. I personally use a Moleskine. This is a 400-page beast. I used to start off with the smaller ones, which I think are like 260, 220 pages. But I just found I wanted to get into a bigger, longer thing. There's lots of other notebooks you can use. A lot of people like to use a Lectern 1977 notebook. Sorry, Lectern 1917 is the name of the notebook. I don't know why that year is there. Maybe that's the year they were invented. Someone will probably let me know in the comments down below. Again, I should do more research before I do videos like this. I don't want to waste your time by getting all nerdy about all the different products I use. So what I've done is I've added all this stuff to my creator cart, which is down in my description below. So if you want to support the channel and check out what I use for my bullet journaling, you can go there and pick any items you're interested in and get them yourself. Or you can just get whatever you want to get. I'm not going to force you to do what I do. That's the whole point of this, is you make it your own. That said, while you're over in the creator cart, we do have one section of it, which is all of the cookbooks we've done recipe reviews for, if you're looking for a way to pick them up and support our channel too. Just throwing that out there. Let's crack this open. There's a few things that are as enjoyable as like cracking open a new notebook, and also awkward to do on camera. There's no like tab. I'm desperately trying to avoid using my teeth on camera. There we go. Do you get joy from a stationery like I do? So if you want the one I get, it's the dotted moleskin in particular, because I just like the lightly faded dots that they have. It allows you to make like grids and charts and whatnot. Moleskin has lined ones. They have blank ones. Honestly, do whatever you want to do if you want to go the moleskin route. Again, I've talked enough about stationery. Let's move on. The beauty of the bullet journal system is that it allows you to track multiple things in a single notebook. Because I'm a filmmaker, I used to have multiple projects going on at any given time. I still do. I'm still a filmmaker. But I would often have multiple notebooks for all those projects because I couldn't understand or fathom how to possibly keep everything into one notebook. Bullet journaling is a system that allowed me to do that. And it does it simply through its most basic thing, which is having an index at the front of the book. It's literally as simple as just creating an index page here. And what you're gonna do as you go through your notebook and add various things to it is you're gonna write down a heading here and leave space to write page numbers down. That's gonna allow you to, when you're looking to find something for whatever it is you're working on, you can just go in here and look at the page numbers and then find them quickly in your notebook, as opposed to spending ridiculous amounts of time just flipping through the book trying to figure out where the heck that thing is that you wrote down. The index is literally the thing that was missing from my organization system, and I can't believe I didn't think of it before. As you can see in my old notebook, it gets pretty full. Some things get more full than others. Some notebooks come with page numbers already written on them. The Moleskine does not, and if yours doesn't, all I do is in the corner of every page, I write down the number. I start with 1, and actually I do every other page. I do like the odd numbers. So I do 1, and I'll flip to the next page, and I'll do 3, so on and so forth. I don't do the whole notebook at once because that's insane. I'll do like the first 20 to 50 pages, and then when those numbers run out down the line, I'll fill in the next 50 or so. If you want to fill in all of yours for the entire book while you're watching an episode of television or watching our YouTube channel, that's a good time to do that as well. It's a nice little mindless task that you can do while you're enjoying something else, like one of our videos. The next thing you're going to do to help you keep organized for the future is create something that's called a future log. Again, I'm using a large, huge ass notebook, so I am going to set up one for the next 12 months. But if you're using a smaller notebook, 6 months is probably more than enough for you. Basically, take a 2-page spread and divide it into thirds, and that'll give you 6 months. Put the month in the top left-hand corner, and that's where you can just add little tasks, which you're going to do by putting a little dot, which is the bullet in bullet journal, and then writing the thing beside it that's going to go in that month. This is a great place for you to just put things that are coming down the pike, but you aren't doing right now or need to worry about right now, but you want to keep your mind on. Or if something comes up that you need to remember for down the line, you can put it in here because you're going to come back to this later on when you're setting up your next months. After you set up your future log, you can go right into setting up your first monthly log. However, I like to do a few other things up at the top of each new notebook. I like to do a bunch of long-term trackers and collections that I'm going to be doing over the course of the next 6 months or a year, however long my notebook lasts. Some of those include things like movies I want to watch, TV series I'm watching, books I want to read, recipes I want to check out. You can make them fancy like I have in my notebook here, but you can also literally just make a list and cross it out, use the bullet journal system where you dot it and all that kind of stuff. Again, make it your own. Another thing that I recommend for people on a weight loss journey or just tracking long-term health goals is to put some kind of a tracker in this section as well. For those who don't know, I lost half of my body weight from eating whole food plant-based. And so one of the things that I do is just track my weight maintenance over time. I don't weigh in every single day. I weigh in once a week. And so I have a long-term tracker at the beginning of my notebook that allows me to just make sure that I am maintaining my weight. And I am happy to say that I have actually maintained within 5 pounds the same weight for the last 2 years roughly. If you want to know more about how I maintained my weight loss, let me know in the comments down below and I will make a video in the near future about that. In Ryder's original Bujo setup, he has a monthly log where he likes to keep track of all the things he's going to do each day. Or he'll go back after and just write in all the things he did that day. So it's a bit of like a table of contents or an index for the month. I don't do that in my notebook anymore, but if that's something you're interested in, you can totally do that. What I do in my notebook is I create a monthly to-do list. So that's where I'll start putting in my tasks, which how to make a task is you put a bullet and then you just write down the thing beside it in as few words as possible. And that's all you need to do to set up your month if you want. One of the things that I like to do is create a monthly tracker, which is a way for me to track whatever I want. I'm gonna leave this blank for now because I can come back later and decide what I want to carry over for my last month of tracker 2. Maybe there's some things in here that I no longer need to track. Here is what a previous month's looks like all full. So for example, with sleep, I did pretty good. So I might not need to track that next month. Same with, posting to social media things. Whatever it is in here, I can get a sense of what my month looked like just at a glance and know what things I want to carry forward, what things I still want to track, what things I don't need to anymore. When I was really focused on weight loss, I would weigh in every day and I'd have a monthly tracker for weight every month. I would do a sleep tracker by the date. I don't necessarily go into that detail anymore, but you can. The other thing that I like to do at the top of my month is put up a gratitude tracker. This is literally just a space for me to every day have to write down something that I was grateful for that day. And it can be anything. It could be just for a nice moment that I had with a family member, with one of you in the comments. It really doesn't matter because it's all personal to you and you don't have to show anybody. And at the top, I like to put a little motivational quote, just something that I'm thinking about at the time when I'm creating this in the moment. Again, you can do whatever you want. You can do a doodle, you can put song lyrics, whatever you want. You don't have to do any of this either. Again, make it your own. I'd love to know what ideas you have for things that you might want to track on a month-to-month basis. Throw that down in the comments below for my inspiration and for others who are watching this. How your bullet journal works on a weekly or even daily process is actually the heart of bullet journaling. The way Ryder describes it is that it's as simple as making a list of daily tasks. And that's how I did it for the longest time. I just set up day by day, but now I've switched over to a weekly spread because that just helps ease my mind a little bit more and I can organize 1 week at a time and shift things around as I need to. How I do that is I take a 2-page spread and I break it into 6 different columns. With the last column, I break in half for the weekend. Me personally, my weekends are a bit more flexible, so I find I can kind of group those 2 days together. Based on your life and your schedule, change this entirely. If you want to fit all of this into a 1-page spread, do whatever you want to do. There are so many different examples of different weekly spreads and monthly spreads and daily spreads that people have online if you want to get some inspiration. The Bujo community is strong and real and nerdy and awesome. So once I've broken this down to the days of the week, I like to separate each of these columns into 2 categories. Up at the top is where I'm going to put my tasks, and at the bottom, I'm just going to create like a bit of a, time frame for the day so I can put in time-specific things in there if I need to. But up at the top here, the tasks, this is the heart of the Bujo system and what the bullet really means. So what you're going to do is you're going to use that little bullet and you're going to write down whatever it is that is on your task list for that day. As you go through the day, and if you do that thing, you can cross it off with a nice little X. At the end of the day, what you're going to do is look at all of your incomplete tasks or open tasks, as Ryder describes them, and you're going to ask yourself, do I still need to do this? If not, cross it out. If you still need to do it and you can do it later on that week, put a little forward arrow over that dot and then just move it to another day of that week. If you still need to do it, but you're not going to get around to it that week, do a backwards arrow and throw it back into your monthly to-do list if it's not already there. And then you create your next day, and so on and so forth throughout the rest of the week. And then when you get to the end of your week, you're going to create a new weekly spread and migrate everything over there. The other thing you'll see that I've done here is I put a little colored exclamation mark beside a couple of different tasks. Those are tasks that I just want to flag for that day that are important that I do on that day. And then I put a little colored asterisk beside tasks that would be nice to do or things that I could do in 5 to 10 minutes. So if I find I've got a few minutes free in the day, I can knock those things off really, really quickly. What I love about having a list is it just means I don't have to think about it. I just have to look at the list and go, okay, what can I do next? It just allows my brain to go into autopilot and not have to think about all this stuff and keep it all up here. Are you like me? Do you keep everything up here? Don't do that. Put it in here. You'll be a much happier person. Trust me. The other thing that I like to do is when I'm setting up my weekly spread, on the page before or after, whatever is blank, I like to create what I call an intention spreadsheet for the week. And for each day of the week, I just write down a single sentence that explains the following 3 things. How I'm going to show up that day. So what's my mood or my mentality going to be going into that day? I'm going to be open, optimistic, have low expectations, go with the flow, whatever it is. The second thing I'm going to write down is, what does success look for me like on that day? So much of us get to the end of the day and feel like we didn't accomplish anything. So at the beginning of the day, I like to just write down one thing that if I do that day and accomplish it, I'll feel successful. And go easy on yourself, right? Don't feel like you have to, do all of your crazy tasks. Just pick one thing that you'll get done. And then it'll just, it's a good mental health thing. And then the last thing I write down is, what does joy look like for me today? That could be anything from doing a live stream with you, which brings me tremendous amounts of joy, or it could be, having a fun night with my family, or doing something that's going to be fun, talking to a friend later on. Whatever it is, what does joy look like for you today? I love doing that at the beginning of every day because it just helps set the tone for that day and let me know what I'm getting myself into and what I can look forward to. Again, it's a mental health thing that it just makes me happy. So just to recap, I basically end my day with my bullet journal by going through it and reflecting upon all the things I didn't do and want to do the next day. And then I start my next day by looking at it and just getting a sense of what's in front of me, prioritizing the things I need to do. It's just, who doesn't like a list? And if you're one of those people that write down, make to-do lists on your to-do list just so you can cross something off right away, you're my people. So what about all the other pages in your book? Well, this is really where you get to make the bullet journal all your own. Do you like to doodle, draw in your book? Do you want to mess around with the recipe creation like I do sometimes? Use your notebook. Do you need to take notes for a meeting or for an idea you have? Or journaling, you can journal on this thing. Whatever you want to do, use your book for that. Just remember, if it's anything you need to keep track of, put it in your index at the front and write the page number down so you can find it quickly. The other thing I like to do, especially in these larger notebooks, is I use little washi tab things. Tabs, stick tape. Thank you, washi tape. What I do is I like to put them at the top. I have all these different colors. These are the different months. So if I need to go back and reference something from a past month, I can just go there and quickly find my previous month or that month. Especially when I go to do my trackers or look for my monthly to-do list, it allows me to go back to that really, really quickly and not have to flip through the pages. A lot of these journals also have, 1 or 2 bookmarks as well, so you can keep track of where you are in the book. I also do that tape along the side here. This is for more like things like my collections. So the TV series I'm watching will have one of these, and I know which color that is, so I can flip to it quickly if I want to check off a TV series I'm watching. Various other things, other to-do lists I have that are project specific. I might make a to-do list just for that project. For example, the YouTube videos I make, I have a page for that's just that, so I can check things off and keep track of things in here. Guests I want to do live stream with, they're in here, It's just a way to put my brain all in one spot. Seriously, use these pages for whatever you want them for. That's what they're there for. When it comes time to do your next month, you're just going to start a new monthly setup the way I described earlier in the video. Now, I know what you're saying. Doesn't it seem a bit insane to rewrite a list that I've already written? Yes and no. Here's what I really love about the bullet journaling system is that when I get to the end of a week or the end of a month, I have to really look at that list of tasks that I haven't completed yet. And I have to ask myself, do I still need to do this? When am I going to actually get around to doing this? Right? It forces you to look at your to-do list and actually do something about it as opposed to it just sitting there feeling daunting. It just lets you be accountable, but also take control of that mountain of things that you think you need to do or that you actually need to do and start to organize and schedule them in a way that is a bit more mentally healthy, at least for me. So yeah, you're going to be rewriting to-do lists on a monthly basis. I like it a lot. I find it keeps me accountable. It keeps me organized. It forces me to really consider whether or not these things still matter or are important or need to be done. There's nothing I love more than rereading my monthly to-do list and going, I don't need to do that anymore. And I just cross it out and I smile. Or if you're looking at that monthly to-do list and getting ready to migrate it forward and you're like, I'm not going to do that thing next month. Who am I kidding? But I do need to do it. Put it back into your future log if it's not already there and decide whatever month you want to put it to in the future. If for some reason you're filling up your notebook slower than I do and you need to add more months to your future log, just create a new future log in the middle of your book. You can do the same thing if you need a new index or if you make these collections of movies or TV shows or whatever it is that you want to do. And if you fill all those pages up, add more pages later on in the book and just put them into the index so you can find them quickly. Or use things like my tape. One of the other things I like to do at the end of every month is sometimes I'll just write a little journal entry into my notebook talking about how did the last month go? What were the good things? What were the bad things? What can I do better? This thing is like an analog version of a therapist for me. It really, really is. That, in a nutshell, is the bullet journaling system. And a huge shout out to Ryder Carroll for creating this system. It has literally changed my life. It has made me a happier person, a more less stressed out person. A more or less stressed out? That's a thing, right? It's just brought a lot of peace of mind to me, and it's allowed me to do as many things as I do without stressing out on a regular basis. And again, I've got a bunch of like stationery, markery, pen things. If you want to check out what I use, look at the creator cart down below. Consider using or buying those items through there to help support the channel. But you don't have to. You can get any notebook and any pen and just use that. This is a totally different kind of video for our channel, so if you enjoyed this kind of thing, let me know in the comments down below. Hit that like button to let YouTube know to send this to other people, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. And YouTube wants you to watch this video next. It is not a bullet journaling video because this is the only one I've done. Bullet journaling video. It's something else, but maybe if you're new to the channel, you'll dig it too. Thanks. Bye.